That night, in the quiet of his dark room, while a deep and clear cold frosted the starlight over the town, those words came back to Turner. "I will see to it myself." He sat up in his bed and looked out the window. He stayed that way for a long time, as if to guard the world. He guarded the world most nights through the next week. When he was more angry than afraid, he recited Virgil, "Of arms and the man I sing." He was more than halfway through the Aeneid now, and getting faster at his 100 lines. After lunch and a chapter of Darwin, he did not mind the summaries, his father told him he was free to find Lizzie bright. She waited for him by the pines above the granite ledges. It was too cold to wait down by the shore, and together they explored the New Meadows coast, watching everything hunker down for the winter. The chipmunks and the squirrels with their last cheekfuls of larder, the deer toward dusk with their heavier coats, the rabbits whitening except for the tips of their ears. Every day, Turner asked Lizzie to come live in Mrs. Cobb's house. Lizzie would smile at him and shake her head. "Turner, they'll never let us," she said. "It won't make a bit of difference," he said. And she would smile again and tell him that he didn't look at things straight on, and then she would find some mouse tracks in the snow, and they would follow them until they disappeared beneath a small bank. Mr. Stonecrop wasn't at church the next Sunday, at least not at First Congregational. There were, in fact, quite a few souls of the Phippsburg faithful who did not come on that Lord's Day. Even Lillian Woodward failed to show for her prelude, and Turner found himself taking her place at the organ bench and looking over a mighty small congregation. The Newtons were there, with all the little Newtons. Deacon Hurd was there, and Willis, but none of the other Hurds. Reverend Buckminster waited for a few minutes past the hour to give the opening prayer, but the congregational singing that followed was thin, and Turner had to tone the volume down about as low as it could go if he was to hear any voices at all. From the organ bench, Turner listened to his father preach as though he were addressing a house packed full of the saints, but he could also see his mother fidgeting in the front pew, opening and closing her Bible, taking out her handkerchief and twisting it in her hands until she realized what she was doing and put it away. Then she'd take it out a minute or two later and start all over again. Turner imagined the houses up on Quality Ridge falling to the trumpets of the Hebrew host. It didn't take too long to shake hands with folks after the service. Most of the congregation didn't meet the eyes of their tight-lipped minister. When Deacon Hurd went past, he nodded curtly. "There's a deacons' meeting this Wednesday night," he said. "I'll be there." "No, Reverend. For meetings of this sort, the bylaws tell me I have to inform the minister, not invite him." Turner wondered if his mother might swing out her right arm and go for Deacon Hurd's nose, then his eye. That would be worth seeing, and he was sorely disappointed when Mrs. Buckminster simply took the deacon's hand as he went on past. But all thoughts of a bloody deacon disappeared a few seconds later when Willis whispered to him, "Tonight. It's tonight," and then went on by, holding Turner's eyes with his own for as long as he could. Turner felt himself go cold in the center, a cold so deep it made him nauseated. He felt as though he were standing on a cliff over the sea. Tonight, something would happen to Mrs. Cobb's house. He did not tell his parents what Willis had said. They sat in the silence through dinner, but it was not the same as the silence that had been there before. His parents' eyes often met, and sometimes they reached out to touch each other's hands. They ate quietly, glad to be together. So Turner let them be glad together.